Welcome to the Take Two with Tonia podcast with your host, Tonia Myers. This is a space for women 50 years and older to create the life we have always wanted and dreamed of. On this podcast, expect to have your mind expanded, your spirits uplifted, and your soul encouraged. We will explore the self-development journey of others and pull from it the gems needed for our own self-transformations. Hello, everybody. This is Tonia Myers with Take Two with Tonia. Don't look at the nails. We are here today to talk to our women who are 50 and older. We're here to empower, enlighten, inspire, and encourage our women today. And today on our episode, we have a great, special, and wonderful guest who has done great things, is doing great things, and will continue to do great things. And I am sure several of the listeners in my audience would love to connect with her as you hear her story and hear how her life has progressed throughout the days and the years and stuff. So we would like to welcome to the Take Two with Tonia podcast, none other than Dr. Latracey. Hi, Dr. Latracey.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So Dr. Latracey is the owner of a community that I am part of called the Black Authors Rock community. And she's going to give us a little backstory of what Black Authors Rock is and what it has become and what her vision is to it. So can you just kind of start off and give us a little history of what it is that you do?
Yes. Whew. Look, I'm like, what do I do?
Right. We're going to start with Black Authors Rock.
Yeah. Black Authors Rock was started because I needed support as a Black author. I had a publishing company prior to Black Authors Rock called Purposeful Publishing and Consulting, and it was very successful. And yet one of the things that I saw was a lack of support in the community for Black authors. And so with that being said, I was sitting on the side of the bed and I'm praying and I'm asking God, what should I do? And he gave me Black Authors Rock. He told me that it was going to be a full service coaching, consulting, and publishing firm and bookstore. And so when you hear those things, that's big. And, do I have a feedback? Do you hear fuzzy?
I don't.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, I hear something. And what took place was everything fell in line. It started with a domain name, a trademark, a online community, and then it grew and it grew and it grew. Over the last couple of years, we're up to 4,500 individuals all over the world. We are global, and I love that. I love the fact that there are individuals who come in, whether they are aspiring writers or those who have written their books and self-published, and then they don't know what to do next, or those who want the support of someone just buying their books. Well, the community is not one that is just a promotional site. It is one to enlighten you, to equip you, and to support you right where you are. Because when we edify you, we believe that you can go out and make more. We live by the principle that you can sell and create multiple streams of income from your book project, even before it's published. And a lot of people get discouraged because only their family have purchased from them. So right. We teach you how to do that and support you along the way. And so I love what I do. I have been able to do it from technically even my bed.
Right.
Because when you love what you do, it's easy. It's easy. Mm-hmm. And so Black Authors Rock has made an impact in the world. And we not only have events, but we have meetups, we have networking events, mentorship. Oh, it's a full gamut of things that we do. So it is time. It's time to make it happen and to get it done. So that's what we do at Black Authors Rock.
Good. I met Dr. Latracey on a podcast several months ago. It was this year, so it wasn't that long ago. And she and I kind of just clicked, and I was able to get into a couple of her programs that she that she offers. And for those of you who don't know, some might know that I have authored a book myself called I'm Enough Already, Tips and Techniques for Overcoming Self-Doubt. Well, I have been able to put several of my books in her bookstore, and she has both. You have an online and a in-house. You do pop-ups and stuff, right? So she has a physical bookstore, and I was just amazed at the fact that her physical location was. I'm gonna let you tell them a little bit about the physical location and how unique and monumental it was for your first physical bookstore, and then where we're going with that.
Okay. So for women,
Yeah,
especially women over 50, and
correct.
I know going to be some that are younger that are going to be listening or even watching, I need to encourage you with this.
Please.
When you decide to do something, don't despise small beginnings.
Right.
When Tonia wrote her book and we met on a podcast back in February, I was actually traveling, and I stopped on the side of the road, went to a hotel to get in their meeting room so
Right.
we could do this pod. I'm telling you,
By any
don't
means
any
necessary.
means. Um, our first physical location was Keesler Air Force Base. I don't
Right.
have military affiliation at all. And yet, today I have a contract to go to any military installation in the world to pop up and have a physical store or even a book signing for the authors. I walked in with the intention that we were just going to do one day. And then I just asked the question. Me, I believe in asking questions and I don't believe in no.
Okay.
When you tell me no, it's next opportunity because something greater is going to come. And so we started off with a kiosk. Now, mind you, the kiosk, some people said, oh, well, that's small. That's nothing. No, 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 no. We were able to spotlight over 64 different authors on this platform. We had book signings at this location. We were able to reach people from all over the world because military people are coming and going.
Right.
And it was a way to reach the masses. And so, even though that wasn't a part of our business plan in the beginning, we were able to have this location. So, if you want to start a store or something of that nature, go get a kiosk in a mall or on a base because you don't have to necessarily pay for a building and all the
Right.
overhead. You
Right.
pay for what you sell. And so that was a blessing for us because the way our bookstore is set up is that we pay 75% of all proceeds back to the authors. So they don't necessarily have to be in the building. And yet we were there and able to have a bookstore in the middle of the BX.
Right.
And so we were able to reach everyone. And I'm so ecstatic. And we can go to any location in the world, like I mentioned before. And so if you have an idea, don't let anything stop you. And even if they do tell you no, so be it. You just keep pushing, you ask around, and you never know.
Yes. Yes.
Tanya said, I want to make money in my sleep. So we intentionally wait till late to send her PayPal notification.
You know
Because she
what? You
said,
do that. I didn't even know that.
yes, because we normally send them at 9 in the morning, but she wants to make money in her sleep. So we have to make that happen. So, you never know. And do not and she didn't tell you, she even has a workbook.
I
Because
do. I do. I was going to get to that, but I just wanted you. I like the part that you talked about how you just went in and you just asked and you started with the kiosk because a lot of us and in this group, this demographic, there's things that we want to do if it's nothing but like my mother is an awesome cook. And I'm like, Mama, can we just write a recipe book? Can we just do a recipe book and put the recipe book out there? So there's a lot of things that we are scared to just take the first step and scared to walk out there. So I love how you said you just went in and you asked. That is just a great, great point that you ask. And even the whole fact that you brought up that you did the kiosk, because a lot of us think that we have to have the brick and mortar business. And I've even noticed that in malls, the eyelash ladies, they start out as kiosks. And then when their business grows, then they move to one of the buildings in. So that is a great, great, great point, or as the guys are saying now, that's a great bar. You drop the gym, by saying go and ask and start small, one step at a time. So that was great.
And I would even like to encourage your mom with even the recipe book. When she does cook, just take a picture of it, and that picture can go into the recipe book.
That's a
And
good
then,
idea.
it can be no more than 15, 20 recipes, those pictures. And then when she's ready, she can host an event where people will come by and get the plates. You know, everybody's
Right,
buying,
right.
and has rent out a little community center and sell some plates, sell the books, and that's giving her extra exposure, because you never know where your next yes is going to come from.
That's true. That's true. So I love how with Dr. Latracey, when I talk to her, she has a gift to be able to, like she just told us, a way that you can make more income. And a lot of us are looking for ways to increase our income, and we don't even realize the gifts that are in our hands and the talents that are in our hands. And Dr. Latracey has the gift of helping people figure out how to make money through authoring, being an author and publishing. So just for her to be able to, I know one of the programs that I was in with her, she had like this whole thing that she walked us through for clarity of ways that we could make income. Hence my workbook that came out, or that is out, and the workshop that I am offering to go along with the workbook. So, because at first I didn't have that together, and she gave me a, like, Tonia, get it done by next week, kind of ultimatum, and I'm like, huh? Okay, well, let me sit down, and she walked you through it. So if you're looking for somebody to mentor you and coach you in that area, Latracey is great with that kind of stuff, helping you, helping you, helping you. Now I need to make sure that you know, though, that you need to have a mind to work, because she's not going to write the stuff for you. She already wrote her book. She's good in that regard, but she's here to help you and walk you through the process. So that was one of the things that I loved about her, and loved about what she offers and stuff like that. So let me ask you something, Latracey. Throughout your life, what was like the major turning point that made you decide, okay, this is where I'm going to go, this is what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it?
Um, I had a major health issue that
Mm-hmm.
came up.
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed with a brain tumor
Mm-hmm.
and breast cancer, and those things hit me like a ton of bricks. And in the midst of all of that, I was going through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was so important to not only take care of my health, but also take care of my children
Mm-hmm.
and not lose the influence.
Mm-hmm.
So culturally, we are taught to look like we got it all together.
Correct. Correct.
Let me just tell you, I have a desk uh, and my bed in the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Right.
Why? Because I may have to stop and lay down for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I have made the shift in my own life to do what sounds and works for me.
Right.
And so a lot of people would say, even before COVID, I was doing the Zoom videos and things like that, because you have to do what you can do.
Right.
Don't allow your circumstances to hinder you. We have to push through. And culturally, we're taught to not look like what we're going through.
Right. Right.
Um, and so with that, I just tried to learn by, or be the example. Um, so for me, I knew that I needed to get the word out. So I wrote. That was
Okay.
my escape.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, we're not taught to go to therapists. I go
Correct.
to one now, but
Mm-hmm.
writing was my escape. So I wrote, whether it was about the rape, the molestation, the divorces. I am very transparent about my story, because we're taught what happens at home stays at home, but then you stay broken.
Exactly.
Or like, I'm a preacher. but we preach and we're supporting and ministering to other people, and yet who's ministering to us?
Exactly.
So all of those things that have taken place in my life, I've written them down and I've utilized them to not only help me to heal me, but to also heal others. And so I've just been different, per the red hair. Push
Love
the
it. Love the
envelope.
red hair though.
Thank you. I push the envelope. I try to walk in the very thing that I need. I need that transformational change. I need that support. I need someone to be open with their testimony. Um, when I was dealing with mental illness, people didn't talk about it.
Right.
That was forbidden. So I wrote about it, and I'm showing people, okay, well, you can go through it, but if you can get up and you can get dressed from the waist up,
Right. Ain't
if
that
you
the truth?
if you can get dressed from the waist up and you can show up, I don't care how many pills you have to take. I don't care if you got to go jump in and get in the shower, or have you a bite to eat or whatever in between. Just show up, and
Right.
if you show up, everything's gonna work out. It's gonna work out one way or another. It's gonna work
Right.
out,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be perfect. It
That
doesn't. I
is
mean,
that is part of it. We get paralyzed with needing perfection. So I love that you're saying it
mhm,
doesn't have to be perfect. Just do it. Just start it. Even with this
mhm,
podcast, I just started it, and I'm so honored that you agreed to be one of my first guests on here,
yeah.
because I was like, I know Dr. Latracey can help me. So and she has a great story for everybody. So I was like, you're gonna have to share it with the women because of all the things that you've been through, and you still push and push and push and push and push in spite of not necessarily, you just don't give up and stop,
Mhm.
because a lot of the ladies who are of a certain age, they stop because, like you said, we've been taught certain things. We've been taught you go to school, you get the job, and you retire from the job. And the world today is changing. These
Mhm.
jobs aren't keeping us out here. COVID taught us that those jobs are not promised. I get a little saddened sometimes when I drive down the street and I see so many businesses that were up and booming in 2019, and now 2021, those businesses are no longer existing. So we're having to transform into this online presence and these influencers and do figure out other ways to do it. So thank you so much for being a trailblazer for us. That we appreciate it. If you guys, want to follow Dr. Latracey, she is everywhere on Facebook with Black Authors Rock. She's on Instagram, Black Authors Rock. You can follow her story, and see all of her events. I want to go ahead and put that plug in right now. We'll also have, I'm sure somewhere in here, we'll talk about how you can reach her and all that kind of stuff. But I did want to go ahead and say that now. Follow her, look her up on Black Authors Rock, and learn and see more about her. Dr. Latracey, if you had one piece of advice to give to yourself, your younger Latracey self, what would that piece of advice be?
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Love it.
Um, yeah, I've wanted to give up daily.
Right.
Let's just be honest, daily. It's not easy. Whether it's health or whether life is just happening or it's kids, um, you want to give up because it's easy to give up.
Correct. Correct.
It's easy to just throw in the towel. It's easy not to fight. Um, but one of the things that I have told my daughters from birth is to always be a light. And they would laugh at me, Mama, why you say don't be a light when I leave out the house to go to school? I love you, be a light. They're like, oh, why you keep saying that? But now they're adults. They're like, I get it. You always told us to go and be a light, and we can't be a light if we give up. Yeah, you have to keep going because
Right.
you have to be that light. People want to see your smile. People want to see your energy. They want to see that you showed up, because a lot of people don't. And we
Right.
know even with COVID, a lot of us wanted to give up.
Yes, it was gonna be the easy thing to do. A lot of
Mhm.
people did. A lot of people did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. Don't give up. Do not give up. That is a great, great, great piece of advice for everyone. I'm even I have little kids. So I'm trying to teach them not to give up. My son, he's playing football and he doesn't particularly like it. So I told him, well, we already started the season, so I don't want to teach you to be a quitter. We're going to keep on doing this until the season is over. And then next year, if you don't like it, we don't have to necessarily do it again, but we're not going to give up. We're not going to quit. So even at this age, I can't quit. I can't stop. I can't give up. So that's a great piece of advice to teach the younger Latracey and all those others that are with us, right?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
right. If when you were, and I guess that would, if I would ask you what was one thing that you wish you knew then that you know now, would it still be the same thing, or do you have another thing that kind of stands out in your mind?
Be unapologetic.
Yeah.
Um, we are taught to live in a box.
Oh
Our-
God, look, you preaching, you preaching.
you
I'm
know,
about to send you a
we,
cash app.
I mean, we were, especially women, we were taught to live in this persona of what a woman is supposed to be. But
Hmm.
I know so many women that are construction workers or that are teachers and that are, you know, firefighters and things like that. They need to know that you don't have to be in a box. You can be
Right.
unapologetically you. I moved from Minnesota to Mississippi 11 years ago, and I had been preaching for years. And
Hmm.
yet, being down here in the South, they don't accept a lot of women preachers.
They don't. They don't.
And so I realized, well, since you don't accept me this way, you're going to, you, whichever way. But now I'm gonna come in a way where you don't have any other choice. You don't have to come in and say, "Oh, Pastor, this." You don't have to. I don't even need that title. It's okay.
Right.
But you're gonna respect me. And so
Mhm.
now when I walk in, they're like, "Well, wait a minute. She has red hair. Well, wait a minute. Oh, she's still ministering. Uh-huh. I didn't give up. I did
Right.
it. So
Mhm.
now,
Right.
uh, and so people are learning. Okay, she's gonna be big and bold, and she's gonna go big, and she's gonna make it happen. So I live by that because I need people to know, be bold and unapologetic and out that box because God didn't put you there. You don't have to be a stay-at-home mama and cook all day long and clean all day long. And listen, it's okay if you need help. Hire somebody.
That's it. Keep the economy going. That's what I
Yeah.
tell my husband. I'm keeping the economy going. When I have the little lady come clean the house, that's to keep the economy going and to help me because I'm every woman, but I can't do all the things, you know?
Yes. I mean, we have the nanny, we have the housekeeper, we have the tutor. I mean, listen, we
Hmm.
may even need the driver and the
Right.
cook.
Right.
Do what makes you operate better
Correct.
and don't be in that box.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. That whole box thing. I
Yes.
love it. So for you guys that are out here and you have grandkids, help teach your grandkids not to be in a box, not to think, not to be unapologetic. I love all that and to not give up. Those are the three. Are y'all catching all this? Are y'all getting these nuts? Be unapologetic. I think Beyonce has a song where she probably talks about being that kind of way. Supposed that what I woke up like this, unapologetic. Basically is what she was saying. Told that boy to the left. I got
Right.
another one coming right behind you. So she was saying, don't get it twisted, baby. I am all the things.
Mhm. Yes.
So, with all that you do, how are you able to kind of manage your life now? I'm working on being a better time manager. So, I'm like any gems and tips you can help me with would be greatly appreciated.
I accept help and I'm not afraid to ask for it.
Oh, there you go.
At
That's
one point,
big because
yes. We don't
especially with
do that.
alpha females, even we don't know how to ask for help. So that's a really good thing to say to tell us to ask for help.
And be okay with asking.
Hmm.
Um, I know. I'm a great businesswoman, but with my health, and even before my health started going down, I needed help with organization and
Mm-hmm.
clean. And I have all these girls. I promise you, I don't know how to do hair. Uh, I mean, so if you can get up and go and get your hair done, that's asking for help. If you can go
Right.
get your nails done, that's asking for help. Why can't you have someone come in or drop off meals for your
Mm-hmm.
family,
Mm-hmm.
or set time up for yourself?
Okay. Okay.
Self care is so important.
So important. You're right. You're right.
I will tell everybody, listen, I have my time. I will go sit in the bathtub for hours. That's
Mm-hmm.
my balance.
Right.
I let that water out, put some more hot water in, and then shower when I'm done. I'm paying for the water, so I'm gonna enjoy.
Right. Right. Right.
um, Another tidbit is be okay with not being okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha females, we struggle with not being okay. We feel like we have to control everything. It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
We don't. And so I've gotten to that point, and I take lots of naps.
Okay.
Do not disturb is a blessing.
Right.
Do not disturb is a blessing. And I have the last child that's at home. She's 8, and I have taught her about independence. You know how to go in there and warm up something, or
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
you know what time you have to go to bed. You know your schedule. Even if mommy's taking a nap, get up and do what you got to do. Wake me
Mm-hmm.
up so
Right.
that I can look in your eyes. We can pray. I can give you your kisses, and you go to bed. And
Exactly.
I go right back to sleep. You know, um, but you have to do what works for you, because what works for you won't work for me.
Right. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good gem. That is so true. So, and I think like social media messes up a lot of people too because they see all of the glam and the glitz of what others do, but they don't see the grit behind it or the grind behind it. Or like in your case, if people look at your social media, they see the beauty, which they're supposed to. You're supposed to show the good stuff. You're supposed to show all the good stuff, but they don't see the times when you are not feeling at your best. I even remember when I came to the Air Force Base to do my book signing at your base. You remember?
Yes.
And you were smiling and greeting the people and doing all the things, but nobody saw all the pills you had to take that day just to be able to function for those couple of hours. And I commend you for that because nobody really knew. Me even sitting next to you had no idea that you were in so much pain until you started taking the pills. When you pulled the pills out, I'm like, you all right? You're like, no, I have a migraine. I'm thinking, what? You're sitting here with the migraine. So I just am like, okay, she's going to get it done by any means necessary. And none of us around her really know what's really going on. And that is to a fault, sometimes a negative thing for us
Mhm.
that, we have to. I even tell some. I went to the doctor one day and I told the doctor, I said, look, I got the black woman, superwoman disease. Okay. I'm in so much pain right now. You're not going to know it because I'm sitting here. I've learned to deal with this and work through this. So
Mhm.
what it looks like on the outside is not what's going on the inside. On the inside, I'm about to hurt somebody. So
Right.
I totally get you're right. So we can't look at the outside and look at everyone else and then try to ascribe our life as how theirs is because what they say, you until I walk a mile in your shoes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even the overnight successes that pop up, they're not even overnight success. Some of them have been doing it for years and years and years, and they just got to the point now where they've been recognized. So it appears that they were overnight successes. So I do want our audience to know that you're right. You can't compare yourself to anyone else. Don't try to be anywhere. Do what works for you. We have to do what works for us. And otherwise we'll go crazy, right? And
Yeah.
hey, the mental health. And that's another thing. Let's talk about that right quick while we're sitting here. This whole
Yes.
mental health piece.
Let's do it.
So last year was a year of a lot of stress, right? And this year hasn't it is not as much stress with COVID as last year was. Last year was so much uncertainty. Everything was closing down. They opened things back up. We still aren't certain. So the stress level, for one thing, the kids are able to go back to school. So that took a lot of stress off of people. But how do you manage stress and the mental aspect of of that part of it?
Well, I see a psychiatrist and a therapist
Mhm.
weekly.
Yes.
I also have accountability partners. I take medication. I
Mhm.
pray and I meditate.
Mhm.
Water is my best friend. So
Mhm.
sitting in the tub, it
Mhm.
works for me. And I also live by the beach. So going to the beach helps
I'm jealous.
tremendously. Oh, it helps tremendously.
Right.
Now, depression and anxiety are things that cannot be seen. And
Mhm.
so a lot of people don't know how to cope. Um, Even being a minister, I will tell people you may have to find other avenues.
Right.
Uh, God did not allow people to become therapists and psychiatrists and psychologists just so that they can have those titles. He made
Exactly.
them just for you.
Exactly.
Um, don't get fooled by what you see, because just like there are functioning addicts, there are functioning individuals with disabilities. Mental illness is a disability,
Mhm.
and we all need different types of help. For me, I didn't even know that I was even dealing with disabilities under mental health, because we're taught as Black women, alpha females, you
Yes.
just keep going.
Keep going.
You,
Mm.
I don't care how you feeling, you just push through. Um, and so I did that until it got to my breaking point.
Okay.
In February of 2009, I had a breaking point. I had a breakdown. And even my followers didn't even know that I was in a mental hospital for 3 months.
Mhm.
Um, the church just thought I went on a sabbatical. I mean,
Okay.
because it wasn't something that they talked about. They
Right.
were ashamed. And see, me, I know how to play these social media streets where I can go outside on different sides of the house or the, or the building and take a picture, and you guys would never know.
Right.
Uh, and so I was able to camouflage it, and we do that well. We wear masks.
Mask. Yes.
And so I'm encouraging each and every one of you. We have dealt with trauma from childhood that we have not dealt with.
Mhm.
Um, get the help that you need and don't apologize for it.
Right.
Uh, if you have to take medication, it just means that it is a what is the word? An imbalance.
Right.
And
Right.
be okay with that imbalance. Be okay with getting the help that you need. Be okay with whatever form of assistance that you need.
Mhm.
Um, for me, I stayed in the house.
Mhm.
No one knew that I was even battling with mental health. They
Mhm.
just thought, oh, she just likes to be in the house. She's an introvert.
Right.
Nah, I mean, I love being around people,
Right.
but that was just my coping mechanism. We're taught to cope. And so do whatever you feel you need to do, and do it without a stigma.
Okay.
Um, if you need support, if you need encouragement, if you need to just reach out, like Tonia said, I am reachable on all social media aspects. Telephone numbers are all over my social media.
Right.
I am one of those people who are personable, who can be reachable, and that is because I'm transparent with what I've gone through, because I don't want you to feel like you have to go through it by yourself.
Right.
Um, I had therapy today, and you know, I have no problem sharing and telling individuals, listen, this is what I have gone through, or this is currently how today is going.
Right.
Um, be okay with that. Journal. You don't have to necessarily publish that, but journal, get it out.
Journal. Right.
Just like any cancer, cancer is an erosion of something. Mental health is just that. If it's untreated, then it can go and get worse. And so don't be afraid of it. Um, and don't feel like you have to go through the process by yourself, because you don't. You
Great
truly.
advice. Yes, great advice. So, ladies, we've heard from Dr. Latracey, and she has told us do not give up, be
Mhm.
unapologetic, and what was the third? There was a third one. Don't give up, be unapologetic, and just keep going. Just keep going. And now she's even telling us that if you're having mental health issues or if you're struggling in that area, to please, 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 please don't feel like you are something is wrong with you or that you shouldn't deal with this. Seek help. I too have a therapist and a psychiatrist that I see on a regular basis, and they help me out. I know the last time I went to see my psychiatrist, he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was holding the seat. I was clutching it so tight. I said, "I'm fine. I'm okay." He said, "Why are you strangling my seat, my chair?" But because I had been taught to go through, I didn't even recognize how tense I was. I was holding on to that seat so tight. And he was able to help me out and get me over that hump so that I could breathe. I could breathe and take a deep breath. So, ladies, it is okay. And we can keep going. If you want to reach Dr. Latracey, Dr. Latracey, tell them what your social media handles are.
Yes, I'm Dr. Latracey on Facebook. I have my personal page as well as my public page. Also, Black Authors Rock on all social media aspects, as well as Black Authors Rock Community, which is our community where we support one another right where you are, whether you are an aspiring writer or a published author that needs some extra assistance. We are there to support you. I love my team. Like I mentioned before, even with my health, um, I have a team that makes me look good. It
Right.
makes me look like I'm all over social media, and that's another thing. Plan, plan. You can pre-plan everything. Your social media can be pre-planned. Your cleaning lady or man can come and clean up. That can be
Right.
pre-planned. Your meals can be pre-planned. Give yourself some grace.
Right. Oh, that's good. Give yourself some grace. That needs to be on a shirt. I'm giving myself grace. That needs to be on a shirt. Well, thank you so much. You guys check her out on social media, Black Authors Rock or Dr. Latracey. You'll also see in the show notes, I'll put links in to where you can reach her, how you can get in touch with her. And again, we would like to thank Dr. Latracey for being on Take Two with Tonia. And ladies, I hope that you guys got some good nuggets from this today and that you are able to go and prosper. All right, y'all be good. Talk to you later. Thanks. Well, that's it for today's episode of Take Two with Tonia. Thank you for joining us. Please be sure to like, share, and comment on whatever platform you happen to be listening to. Remember, if you share, tag me at Take Two with Tonia. I would love to see who all is out there listening. Lastly, remember, you create your own reality and you are 100% responsible for your life. Till next week, I love you all, and this is Tonia with Take Two with Tonia.